Well, that was a very pleasant surprise here, fellas, from your Philadelphia Phillies. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. Following a Phillies sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays in this three-game set, and wraps up a pretty good homestand for this Phillies squad, especially, coming off of that, getting swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates, losing that series in Toronto last week. So you had a pretty bad week last week, and you come into your homestand against, a very good Chicago Cubs team, one of the best offenses in baseball. You win 2 out of 3 in that series, and then you come into this series with a rematch basically against Toronto, who, after they beat you in that 3-game set in Toronto, they were one of the hottest teams in the American League coming into this one, and you pretty much shut them down the entire series. Your starting pitching was very, very, very good, and pretty much your situational hitting was very good as well. And just overall, you shut down a very hot team, and you managed to sweep them, and you finished a homestand coming off of the very bad road trip last week. You go 5-1 on this homestand, so that's a very good bounce back for this Phillies squad. Now, that's basically what I didn't ask them to sweep Toronto coming into the series. I asked you to get your revenge against Toronto. You got your revenge and then some. So I'll just give them a lot of credit because they definitely do deserve that credit. And there definitely were a lot of things that stood out in this series that was very positive. Obviously, the starting pitching was very good. Ranger Suarez, 7 innings on Friday. Christopher Sanchez, 7 innings yesterday. And then Zach Wheeler today, 6 innings with 9+ strikeouts. So once again, your starting pitching dominates. The bullpen usage, you scored 8 runs on Friday, so you really didn't have to use any high leverage guys on for today's game. You scored 11 runs, so you did use Jordan Romano, but he didn't pitch at all in this series before today, so I guess it was just basically to get him some work. And just overall, your bullpen guys, yesterday specifically, when it was a 3-2 game, Kirkering comes into the 8th with a tied game 2-2. He gets a nice, really clean 1-2-3 inning. And then when you take the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, thanks to Max Kepler's go-ahead solo shot, Matt Strom surprisingly came into the 9th with the save, and he got a 1-2-3, where I think a lot of us Phillies fans were kind of clenching a little bit just because of the last few Matt Strom outings where he gives up that back-breaking home run that just like, but he got the save. He looked very sharp. And then for today, didn't really, besides Romano, you didn't have to use your high leverage guys whatsoever. Tanner Banks did struggle a little bit, so granted, so obviously you still need the bullpen help. That's going to be it's still up there. It still is the discussion. You still need the bullpen help. But overall, it's not really much to shit on this team. No, they don't deserve to be shat on for this stretch that they've been on in this homestand. It was a very good homestand. Offensively, Friday and Saturday was very good. Yesterday was more opportunistic. Both offenses for both teams were really not doing much. And good on Max Kepler for getting that clutch go-ahead solo shot. And then, today, Alec Boehm with a 2-run shot where he absolutely crushed the ball. And I'm like, where the fuck has that been? Holy fucking shit. And then you had Nick Castellanos with a nice little grand salami. He had a chance to hit 2 grand slams in this game. I'm sure he was actually trying to do that in his second at-bat. But good on Nick for getting the ball over the wall. Just a wall scraper, basically. It was a line drive, but it did get into the flower basket. And definitely, if Castellanos managed to hit 2 grand slams in this game, I'm sure the meteor would have struck by now. So good on them. Good on them. Otto Kemp, he had a very good series offensively. I believe he had 4 hits in today's game, and then he also had 2 hits on Friday's game, so he is swinging a very good bat. Defensively leaves a lot to be desired because he's not that good of a defender. And there's signs of him with base running, not being smart, but then also being fat. It's weird with his base running because he is trying to steal bases. He is trying to be aggressive on the base pass, which is obviously because he's a rookie. He's trying to show his placement. He's trying to prove his worth. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes he does stupid stuff. Sometimes it works out in his favor, like I said. But overall, I've been very impressed with the Otto Kemp spirits so far. He looks competent at the plate. I would like to see the power numbers rise because he was, hitting for some pop and some extra base hits down in the minor league baseball. I'm sure that will come eventually as the confidence for him continues to rise, and I don't see a reason for him to be sent back down. When Bryce Harper does eventually come back from the IL, I think when Bryce Harper does come back, that means you probably should waive or DF, or just send back down Weston Wilson and just keep Otto Kemp on the bench. I think that is probably the rightful place for him. He deserves to be on the major league roster. So he definitely impressed in this series, and just overall a good offensive performance from basically a lot of the people in the lineup this series, except for Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott had a very Bryson Stott like stat line for today's game that I will discuss in a little bit. He was probably one of the more offensive guys that really didn't do much in this series, I would say. But still, overall, it was a very, very good series and a very good homestand for this Phillies squad. And also, happy Father's Day, by the way, to the people and all the fathers out there. All good stuff. If you have multiple children, if you have children, if you have pets that you consider children, just happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Happy Father's Day to my father, who was downstairs in the living room, either watching YouTube or watching SmackDown from Friday. Went to breakfast earlier this morning with them, with the parents, with the fam. Good stuff, good stuff. And yeah, finished that out with watching the Phillies. So nice little win. Nice little win here. So yeah, good stuff. We might as well go over this weekend's events with your Fighting Phils. They do have the road trip with a 4-game series against the Miami Marlins this week, and then they're back home next weekend against the Mets for a very huge series there. So there's definitely a lot to look forward to, and not really the Marlins series, even though when they do go down to Miami, they tend to struggle. And granted, with the way the offense performed in the series, I would not be shocked if they disappointed us, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that far. Just ride the high. Ride the high of the roller coaster right now. Just enjoy it. Don't need to shit on the team right now. And and we'll move forward here. Oh boy. Oh boy. So let's go to Friday's contest. Phillies win Friday's game by a score of 8-0. Ranger Suarez was very good. 7 innings once again for him. 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk and 6 strikeouts on 94 pitches. It was just solid Ranger Suarez stuff. Trey Turner in the lineup, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Kyle Schwarber, he had a 3-run shot on Friday as well. Alec Boehm 1 for 3. Nick Castellanos 0 for 3 with 2 walks. Max Kepler 1 for 4. JT Realmuto 2 for 3 with an RBI. Bryson Stott 1 for 3. Otto Kemp 2 for 4 with his first major league RBI on Friday. And Brandon Marsh 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs as well. The Phillies did go 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And just seeing how the runs produced in this series, you start in the bottom of the 2nd inning. JT Realmuto with a walk, then Otto Kemp with a double, made it 2nd and 3rd for Brandon Marsh. He doubled the center field, which scored 1 run because it was a weird situation there. So 1-0 lead. No, actually, Kemp, it was a weird thing. So Marsh doubled, and then Kemp tried to run home on the play, where it looked like, I guess it was a situation where he thought the ball was going to be caught, so he went to tag back up at second base, and then he just decided to run past third, and he got thrown out there. But then Trey Turner then walked, so it was 1 run scored, and Kemp got thrown out to 1-0 Phillies lead. Turner then walked, and then Kyle Schwarber, he hits a 3-run shot, puts the Phillies up 4-0. So overall, good stuff. Good stuff there. 4-0 Phillies lead. Then you go into the later stages of the ball game. Otto Kemp with an RBI single made it a 5-0 Phillies lead. Then you go bottom 8. That's when they really tacked on all the runs. JT Realmuto with an RBI double after Kepler doubled. Stott walked. Marsh hit a sacrifice fly. Trey Turner with an RBI single made it 8-0. And good stuff there. You win 8-0 there. And your pitching was really good from Ranger Suarez. Joe Ross came out of the bullpen. He walked 2 people, got out of the situation. Then Taijuan Walker allowed a hit, but struck out 1 on 11 pitches. So just garbage time, basically. Got the job done, closed the game out. And then you go for basically the closest contest of the weekend, which was yesterday. 3-2 Phillies win. Phillies only had 4 hits in yesterday's ball game. The Blue Jays only had 5. Christopher Sanchez was very good. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. The no walks is very important for Christopher Sanchez. That is something that he really hasn't been doing in the past couple of starts here. So seeing no walks on his stat sheet is a very good thing. And then just offensively, not much, like I said. The top of the lineup really did not provide much. Trey Turner went 0 for 3 with a walk. Kyle Schwarber went 0 for 4. Bohm went 0 for 4. Castellanos, he went 0 for 3 with a walk. Kepler, he went 1 for 2 with 2 walks and the go-ahead solo shot in that bottom of the 8th inning. JT 0 for 3. Stott 1 for 3 with an RBI. Kemp 0 for 2 with an RBI. And then Brandon Marsh was 2 for 3, and the Phillies went 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Just looking where all the runs came from. So top of the second inning, 2-out RBI by the Blue Jays puts them up 1-0. Phillies, they would eventually take the lead in the bottom of the 4th inning. All with 2 outs, by the way. Castellanos and Kepler work walks. JT gets hit by a pitch. And then Bryson Stott works a 3-2 count into a bases-loaded walk. So a run does score to tie the game. And then Otto Kemp comes up. He gets hit by a pitch and scores a run. So your only run scored is because you walked twice, technically. So that was how you produced your runs. And then a kind of a stupid decision when the Blue Jays went to the bullpen. There was a wild pitch that got away from the catcher, and JT Realmuto thought he could score on it, and he got tagged up. So, yeah, kind of dumb base running decision there. So you're up 2-1. Blue Jays respond instantly in the top of the 5th. A hit by a pitch, fielder's choice, which allows the runner to get this, which I believe it was a weird transition play between Turner and Stott at second base. I think the toss from Turner was too high, which allowed the runner at first to be safe, which could have been an inning in double play. And then eventually the next batter, Guerrero Jr. hits a double into the gap, which allows the tying run to score. So it's a 2-2 game. Bottom 5, Phillies have a couple of base runners. Nothing happened there. Bottom 6, nothing happens. And then Sanchez is doing his thing. 1-2-3 6th. 1-2-3 7th. And then you go to the bottom of the 8th. Green out there for the Blue Jays. Kepler hits a solo shot. 2-0 count. Crushed the ball. Puts the Phillies up 3-2. Orion Kerkering in the top of the 8th. A nice 1-2-3 inning. He looked very sharp. And then Matt Strahm comes out for that top of the 9th inning. And surprisingly got the job done. Started 2-0 in the count to George Springer, then worked it back to 2-2 and just perfectly placed a backdoor slider on the outside part of the plate for a strikeout. Then he just got the next guys out with ease. Next guy's out basically on 2 pitches. Clement with a fly out and then Schneider with a pop-up. So good stuff there from Matt Strahm. And overall, your offense, like I said, I read through the lineup basically. Kerkering, 1 strikeout, 12 pitches for him. Matt Strahm only threw 7 pitches, so they all did their job. They all did their job basically yesterday. And then if you go to today's ball game, Phillies win by a score of 11-4. 18 hits on the board for the Phillies. A lot of people were in the hit columns today. Basically, I think everybody in the starting lineup got a hit except for Bryson Stott. Yeah. Trey Turner, he was 2 for 5 with a double to start the game. Kyle Schwarber, he was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs in this game and 2 walks as well. Alec Bohm, he was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a 2-run shot in today's ball game. He also had 2 walks. Nick Castellanos, 1 for 5 with a grand slam. Max Kepler, he was 2 for 3 with a walk. JT Realmuto, 2 for 4. Marchand came into the game as a pinch hitter. He went 1 for 1. Bryson Stott, he went 0 for 4. There is a stat on Bryson Stott that I do want to tell you guys because it's the most Bryson Stott stat that I've ever seen in my life. So this is from Destiny Legardo on Twitter. She writes for Phillies Nation. Bryson Stott is the only Philly in the starting lineup without a base hit. He has hit 11 foul balls and seen 31 pitches. He has 2 lineouts and 2 flyouts. That is the most Bryson Stott stat line I've ever seen. Weston Wilson came in the pinch hit. He went 1 for 1. Otto Kemp had a very good day at the plate. He went 4 for 5 with 3 runs scored and 2 RBI. And then Brandon Marsh, he went 1 for 4 in this ballgame. Phillies go 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Zach Wheeler, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 of those earned, 1 unearned, and then 9 strikeouts on 94 pitches. Tanner Banks came in, he allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Romano came in, he walked 1, struck out 1. On 1 of those was a very long hit bat. And then Lazar came in to close out the ball game. And then basically where all the runs were scored, Phillies took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 1st. Trey Turner with the double. Kyle Schwarber with the RBI single puts you up 1-0. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Kemp reaches in on an infield single, then Schwarber gets intentionally walked, and then Alec Bohm bloops a single in the right field, which allows Kemp to score, puts you up 2-0. Bottom of the 4th inning for the Phillies, Kepler with a leadoff single, JT with a double, makes you 2nd and 3rd. Stott then flies out to shallow left field, which was not able to be a sacrifice fly. Then Kemp with a single, scores 2 runs, makes it a 4-0 lead, so good on Otto Kemp right there. Top of the 5th inning, the Blue Jays got 2 runs, a sacrifice fly, and then a throwing error by Zach Wheeler, which allowed the run to go from second to home plate to make it a 4-2 game. But then bottom 5, Phillies respond. Schwarber with a single. Alec Bohm crushes a 2-run shot, makes it 6-4. Phillies do have extra chances to score. Kepler single, JT single. Stott wasn't able to do anything there. A lot of long at-bats for Bryson Stott. That was the 9-pitch at-bat for Bryson Stott in that specific inning. Then you go bottom 6. Kemp with a leadoff single. Schwarber walks. Bohm walks. And then Castellanos lines a home run barely over the wall for a grand slam, makes it 10-2. And that's basically your ball game. The Blue Jays did score 2 runs off Tanner Banks. Schwarber with bases loaded, granted into a fielder's choice, which allowed another run to score, and that would be the final run of the ball game. And that's your ball game, basically. So overall, good stuff by the Phillies. Good stuff by the Phillies. And if you're looking at some specifics here, just from out-of-town scoreboards everywhere, the Atlanta Braves, they got crushed by the Colorado Rockies today. They did win this series, but they got crushed in this last game, 10-1. And for the New York Mets standpoint, I believe, they're going to get swept by Tampa Bay, and currently they're losing 9-0 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! After the Mets coming off of sweeping the Rockies, sweeping the Nationals, they're getting swept by Tampa Bay. So interesting, and some of these games did not look close. Okay, the first game was more close than anything. Tampa Bay wins 7-5 in the first game. Tampa Bay wins game 2 8-4, and right now they're winning 9-0. So that definitely helps the Phillies out a bunch. That really does help the Phillies out a bunch. So that would probably make the Phillies 2 games back of the Braves, or 2.5 games back of the Mets, or something like that. I don't remember. Then the Braves, Jesus Christ, they're 31-39. They're 13.5 games back. And the Braves, I believe they do play the Mets this week before they come to Philadelphia, the Mets, that is. So that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. Are the Mets going to go on a little bit of a cold stretch here? Because if the Braves do beat the Mets a little bit, that would help our case a little bit. But we do also have to take care of business against the Miami Marlins. So we need that. I believe the Marlins swept the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken. So granted, the Marlins are still not that good of a team. They're 28-41, and the Nationals are not a good team whatsoever either. You still got to take care of your business. Still got to take care of your business. But it is a very good series for your Phils, a very good homestand for your Phils. And now you go on the road for 4 games, like I said, to play the Miami Marlins. And the pitching matchups that it's shaping up to look like, if I can get to them. Mick Abel is expected to pitch tomorrow against Sandy Alcantara. Sandy is not pitching good this year. He is 3-7 with a 7.14 ERA. My God. Even though he's coming off of a 6-inning no-run performance against the Pittsburgh Pirates, he faced the Pirates and the Rockies, so it's not that drastic of a competition right there. 6 earned runs and 4 innings against the Padres, 5 earned runs and 5 1/3 against the Angels, 4 runs against Tampa Bay. So this is a very vulnerable version of Sandy Alcantara. Then on Tuesday it is Jesus Luzardo against Cal Quantrill. He is not good either with a 3-7 record, 5.61 ERA. Then Ranger Suarez on Wednesday against Edward Cabrera. He is basically the lone bright spot in the Marlins rotation, 2-2 with a 4.10 ERA. And then Christopher Sanchez will be on Thursday right now against a to-be-determined pitcher. And then that sets up your pitching matchups for the weekend, which is expected to be Zach Wheeler against Tyler Miguel, and then Mick Abel against Griffin Canning, and then Jesus Luzardo against David Peterson. So interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Then you go to Houston after that, and then blah, 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 the rest of the schedule. It's weird. Every Marlins... Okay, this is a weird schedule. So Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Miami are at 6:40. So I guess that's normal time for the Marlins. But then Tuesday is 6:10. Why the half hour ahead? It's weird. That is a weird time. 6:10. Why 6:10? Unless that's like a typo. Let me check on like MLB.com. It probably is not a typo. Most likely not. If I go to the Phillies just to look at the schedule, no, it is 6:10. Why is it 6:10? I have no goddamn clue. Unless the Marlins are like doing something special for this game, I have no clue. Why is it 6:10? Why is it 6:10? Would it really just be because of the Stanley Cup final? I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. But that really wouldn't make sense because the Marlins, they play in Miami. The Panthers, they play in Sunrise. The Panthers don't play in Miami. Why would it be 6:10? That's just weird. It's weird. Maybe that is the reason, or maybe they're just doing something specific. Maybe should I look at the I don't know why I'm like, why I'm like going very OCD with this. I just really want to know why the Marlins, the game on Tuesday is at 6:10. Can I go to the Marlins website? Just maybe they have a specific promotion for Tuesday. Let's see. No, there's like no specific promotion or anything. It's just a 6:10 start. It's just a 6:10 start for some reason. I don't know why. I need to like ask on Twitter why the hell is Tuesday 6:10? If the simple reason is just because of the Stanley Cup final, I wouldn't be shocked. I would be shocked. But I doubt it's for the Stanley Cup final because, like Raymond said, they probably moved the game to the afternoon if it was for the Stanley Cup final. Yeah, I need to ask. I need to ask the Phillies experts on Twitter, the insiders, like why is Tuesday 6:10? It's like that's the weirdest thing in the world. I don't know why I'm like so nitpicky on it, but it just is. It's just weird. Pardon my OCD rant right there. Like seriously, it's just like I'm used to like specific times. It's either your normal starting time or afternoon, not a weird time like 6:10. It's just weird. And then all of the games against the Mets are national television. Friday on Apple TV, Saturday on Fox, and then Sunday on ESPN. So joy. Can't wait for the insane TV delay from YouTube TV on those. You actually have 2 Fox games in a row against the Mets and the Braves. Interesting. And you also have another Fox game against San Diego. Ugh. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Ugh. Crazy stuff, boys. Crazy stuff. Is there anything else from today's game? Is there anything else? Don't think there is. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here that is interesting. That is interesting. I don't think there is. The Yankees also got swept by the Boston Red Sox, so that's kind of funny. Here's a stat on Otto Kemp from Jeff Kerr of CBS Sports. Otto Kemp doesn't get his first career 5-hit game. He'll finish 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored. His batting average is now at .345. Kemp on the homestand has hit .417 with 5 runs scored and 4 RBI. So, good for him. Good for him. Good for him. He's definitely, like I said, he's definitely earned the right to well, I feel like he has proved himself to an extent, but obviously he's a way better option than Weston Wilson is. Way better option. Way better option. Just still scrolling just to see if there's anything that interesting that pops up from today's game. Zach, I think Rob already talked on post game, and Zach Wheeler's currently talking right now in a press conference. So obviously, there's probably not much more that is to be stated. No, I don't think there's much else. So we could probably just chat for a little bit. We also have some voicemails on the Anytime Hotline. We can get to those as well. Got one from Steven and one from Sean, so we can get to those, discuss some things, and then continue to discuss some interesting things right here. So yeah, let's go to Steven, see what Steven has to say from the series sweep.
Hey, I'm in here, go 5-1. Here's against a shitty Miami team. The division is now down to 2.5. I mean, because Miami bad. I mean, that.
Oh,
But
he might be having some he might have had some connection issues on this call. So, Steven, if you are watching this, if you want to try to resend the voicemail, I guess for some reason, sometimes Google Voice just has a very, I guess it revolves on internet connection more than cell service. So maybe your internet was like going wanky here for a little bit here, or maybe it's just Google Voice servers. I'm not entirely sure. But if you do want to try to or like just send in a text message or something like that, you could do that as well. This is just can't translate it, sadly. So I apologize for that. Let's get to Sean's voicemail. Sean's does pop up on the transcript, so his call probably came in clearly. So yeah, Steven, if you are watching this currently, if you just want to try to revoice that call or send in a text message, definitely do that. But let's get to Sean's.
So that's the way baseball works, you know. After the road trip when all hell was breaking loose and the sky was falling, you thought the end was near for the Phillies, and then they come home and do what they did. Now, this doesn't change my overall outlook on this team. I think a lot will be determined in a week or so when they play the Mets at home. We'll see what they do there, but you did what you had to do on this homestand. There were certain things that I pinpointed that I wanted to see. Happy to see Jesus Luzardo bounce back. You know, that kid's too good to have been hit around the way he was. So I'm glad that maybe they figured out what the problem was with him. Hey, let's give it up for Otto Kemp, shall we? You know, we've all been calling for that guy, myself included, and all he's done since he's come up is hit. Again, should never sniff the minor leagues, at least for the rest of the year, if he keeps doing what he's doing. You find a place to put this kid in the lineup, or you find a place to keep him on the bench. Glad to see the offense support a starting pitcher for once today. You know, Sanchez and Suarez got screwed out of wins. Glad to see Wheeler didn't.
Ranger did.
So, again, you did what you had to do. On to the Marlins. Hopefully you sweep them. And then the big one against the Mets coming up.
Ranger didn't get screwed out of a win, did he? I don't think he did. No, he didn't get screwed out of a win. No, he got the win. Sanchez was the guy that didn't get the win on yesterday. So Ranger got his win. But yeah, it's overall, I'll give the Phillies all the credit in the world for the stretch and bouncing back from that very hard road trip. But still, like Sean said, it doesn't really change my full mindset of this team because obviously the flaws are still there. But it was good in this series, you know. I feel like right now, just offensively, the most really consistent hitters in the lineup have been, you know, Trey Turner for the most part. Kyle Schwarber has not been the best in the month of June, but the past few games have been more better from the version of Kyle Schwarber. Alec Boehm has been consistent hitting wise. It's just been more singles than not. Castellanos, like I said, he's been very up and down. Stott really hasn't been the best. I know Brandon Marsh, since coming back from the injury, has hit a lot better. But still, he's not a starting center fielder caliber player like that. He's still a platoon type of guy, in my opinion. They still need to figure out stuff there. Kepler is Kepler. He's had some clutch home runs this year, but still, he's just a guy. So yeah, overall, you just still need. And JT has been swinging a lot better bat as of late, but it's still not nowhere close to enough. Still nowhere close to enough. They had a very good, you know, 6-game homestand here offensively, so I'm not going to take anything away from them. But they still need upgrades. They still need major upgrades. I would even personally, I know Stott's glove is at second base is very good. They need to get some offense from second base, unless they can find a way to like substitute some offense in different positions of need, like the outfield and all that stuff, and maybe that could just hide Stott in the bottom of the lineup as the guy that's really not the most consistent with the bat. It's just like Bryson Stott's strong suits at the plate is that he sees a lot of pitches. He grinds out at bats. He makes the pitcher work. The problem is it doesn't result in anything. He'll grind out like a 7, 8 pitch, 9 pitch at bat or something like that, and then just pop up, and then just ground out, strike out or something like that. it doesn't result into success that you think it should or something like that. And he's 100% has not developed into the hitter that we all expected him to be. So that's the really frustrating part there with Bryson Stott. He just like realistically 2023 for him, that was the outlier. His 2022 call up last year with the bat. I know a lot of people blamed it on the injury last year with Bryson Stott, but this year has been really more of the same from his offensive standpoint. This is probably just what he is as a hitter. It's not the best. At this point, Brandon Marsh is a better hitter than Bryson Stott, and that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. Now, do I think Bryson Stott's this bad with his bat? He shouldn't be, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. He had a good start. He had a good start to the year, which put him into the leadoff spot for that little time being. But it's really been downhill ever since with his bat. He just can't get the ball in play. He just can't. Whether you want to say it's luck, whether you want to just say anything else, it's not good enough. Just not good enough whatsoever from Stott. So I wouldn't be opposed to an upgrade there, just for offensive purposes. But like I said, if they find a way to like upgrade left field or upgrade center field or something like that, and you keep Otto Kemp up here and he provides some consistent offense, you could probably hide Stott in the bottom of the lineup. You probably could. Probably could. But yeah. Not this overall stretch 100%. Like, it doesn't change my overall thoughts on the team. I just, it's riding the highs and the lows, but still like keeping that realistic mindset of what this team is and what they clearly need. But I will give them credit where credit is due when having, a nice homestand where you beat two good teams. Where you beat, like I said, the Chicago Cubs. They're the second best offense in baseball, or the National League. I'm not sure if it's in baseball, but your pitching shut them down, and you won 2 of 3. And then for a Toronto Blue Jays team, ever since winning that series against you, they became one of the hotter teams in the American League, and you swept them. So it's good on you, but still, they need clear upgrades. They need clear upgrades at the bullpen. You saw what Tanner Banks provided for you today. You need upgrades. Clearly, you did DFA Carlos Hernandez, so that is a any person in the bullpen over Carlos Hernandez is an upgrade in itself. That's just upgrade by proxy. But still, you need depth in that bullpen. You need another high leverage arm in that bullpen. Where you go and get it, I have no idea. You need left-handed. You need left fielder. You need center fielder help. And granted, you're not going to get all this help at the trade deadline. You're just not. And that's probably why some people are also hammering to call up Justin Crawford, because he could be an internal upgrade for you. Now, granted, that's probably putting a little too much pressure on Crawford to come up and be a very good player, but it wouldn't hurt. Look at what Kemp's doing right now. He is taking the moments, and he is doing his job, and then some, basically, with the bat. Now, I do think the power will come eventually. I would like to see him eventually hit his first Major League home run, and I think once he gets that home run, maybe the power numbers will start coming through. But he's still doing his job. He's still doing his job. Come up here and just hit. Come up here and just hit. And maybe that's something that Justin Crawford could apply if you really can't address everything at the trade deadline. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, you still have a long ways to go before the trade deadline. And you passed one test with these 2 series here against the Cubs and the Blue Jays. Now, you can't fall flat on your face against Miami. That's what you can't do. You cannot fall flat on your face against Miami heading into a series against the New York Mets. You cannot do that. You have to win 3 of 4 at the minimum against Miami. 3 of 4 of the minimum. More or less a sweep against them, but 3 of 4 of the minimum. You have to. 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 So, we'll see where that takes us. We'll see where that goes. Yeah, your in-house options may be your best. It realistically might be. Now, I see a lot of people that are putting out there, I believe it was Phillies Tailgate or something like that, that said like the best like options that the Phillies could possibly get at the trade deadline or something like that. And one of them put from the Boston Red Sox like Jarrett Duran and or Aroldis Chapman or something like that. And then they really just like put up a couple of, like a bullpen piece and then a hitter combination from like teams that they could probably do with the trade deadline. I think it was Phillies Tailgate if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Phillies Tailgate. So let me see. Let me see. I think it was. Let me see. No. no. Is it them? 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 Was it them? Was it them? It was not them. It was not them. Yeah, Jared Duran would be a good get for this team. Does he plays the outfield, right? Jared Duran. Or Jaron Duran. He's batting .264, 5 home runs, 36 RBI, 38 RBIs this year. He is an outfielder. Which position does he primarily play? He's a left fielder. That definitely would be an upgrade over Max Kepler. 264 average, 319 on base, 736 OPS. Definitely a downgrade from where he was last year. 285 average, 342 on base, 492 slug. Last year he had 21 home runs, so definitely a down year offensively for him. So maybe he's regressing to where he probably should be, but still he's a solid offensive player nonetheless. He's 28 years old. He definitely would be very much well be an upgrade. Very much well be an upgrade on your team. But yeah, what would you get for Chapman? I'm not entirely sure. Chapman has been very good for the Boston Red Sox this year. He's been very good. I believe he has a sub-2 ERA. He's 3-2 with a 1.55 ERA in 29 innings, 39 strikeouts and a .86 WHIP, 12 saves in 32 games. He's been very good for Boston. And also in his last 7 games, he has not allowed a run. In 6 innings, he has gotten 4 saves. So he's been very good. He's been very good to say the least. So he's definitely going to be a very hot commodity at the trade deadline. Very hot. And then there's always the Felix Bautista thing. Can we get Roman Anthony? No, we're not going to be able to get those guys. You're crazy there, Sean. We would not be able to get those guys. Andrew Painter had a bounce back start in AAA. It looks like 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So that's good for him. Good for him to bounce back from the past couple of starts that weren't as good. I know Felix Bautista is also a guy that a lot of people like mention for like Phillies trades and whatnot. He's 0-1 with a 3.04 ERA, 31 strikeouts. How many saves does he have this year? He's got 14 saves in 24 games. There was also, let me look at the standings again just to see where this specific team lands. It's from Seattle. Seattle. They're 35-34. They're 5 games back of Houston. Wild card wise for Seattle, they are 2 games out of the final wild card spot, so I wouldn't be shocked. They're also a -8 run differential. Once again, their offense just isn't much. Who is the Mariners? What is his name again? Andres Munoz. Someone brought this up possibly. Unless it was just like a discussion type of thing. But if the Mariners were to make Andres Munoz available for a bullpen arm, that would be a very good get. He would cost a lot, but he would be a very good get. He's 2-0 this year, 1.30 ERA, 28 games, 18 saves, and 27 and 2/3 innings, 36 strikeouts, and a .83 WHIP. And he's got a career ERA of 2.48. It's been very good. He's been very good for Seattle. For a while, actually. Mariners have 2 dominant relievers. The Brash, let's see. Matt Brash. Okay, he's got a 0 ERA in 12 1/3 innings, 14 games. Jesus. My God, he's got 3 ERA. My God. No, not a 0 ERA. Holy hell. Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, do you try to trade for Munoz or do you try to trade for Brash? And if, say, Seattle does, kind of quasi-sell at the trade deadline, thinking they're not going to be probably, even though they probably won't sell. But, it's an interesting barroom discussion. It definitely would be. Boom for Munoz. I don't think that'll get it done. But you never know. Let's see. No. That'd be very interesting indeed. How about the How about Game 5 last night of the finals? Stanley Cup finals, that is. Brad Marchand defying Father Time and just dominating. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I kind of think the series is over. I do think Florida wins Game 6. It's just it's not it's really because of the Edmonton goaltending. Really, they're starting Calvin Pickard now. Now I don't know who's going to start Game 6 for them. Interesting, but it started off as a very good series, and now it's kind of like Florida's just constantly dominant. Game 4 was very entertaining. Game 4 was it's still like an entertaining series overall. It just kind of feels like whenever Florida goes on the road, they just purely dominate. And Florida has had trouble holding a series lead and closing out a series in these playoffs. So maybe Edmonton does force a Game 7. That would be very electric if they do force a Game 7. But we'll see. Now, does losing the Stanley Cup make McDavid more likely to leave? I have no idea. I really have. I really don't know. I really don't know. Because I could see it as both ways. That McDavid gets pissed off because, say, if Edmonton doesn't address the goalie problem again, if they run into another season with Stuart Skinner as their goaltender, does McDavid just like, if you're not going to address the goaltending, I want the fuck out. I'm not coming back here unless you address the goaltending. But then you can also flip the script and say that McDavid has unfinished business with Edmonton, tries to want to win them a cup. But then say if Edmonton does win the cup, he's like, okay, I've won my cup. Now I want to go make my money somewhere else, help a team, that's on the rise, win their cup or something like that. Or McDavid wins the cup, he cements himself in Oilers history, and he just remains with them long term. I have no idea. What's Ben Joyce's stats for the Angels? Let me look that up, actually. Ben Joyce. I feel like he's injured. He's got a 6.23 ERA, Sean. 6.23 ERA. He's only pitched in 5 games, so he might be injured. I feel like he might be injured. Yeah, I think he's injured. Yeah, he's injured. Yeah, he just got transferred from the 15-day to the 60-day injured list with right shoulder inflammation. So, yeah, he was not good. McDavid will extend after July 1st. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because I know he'll be going into a free agent year. Yeah, it would make sense for him to extend with Edmonton this offseason. If he does not extend this offseason, he is probably leaving. If he does not extend this offseason, he is leaving. It just has a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. A lot of teams are, probably clearing up some cap space for a lot of reason. There's a lot of teams that are out there in the NHL that are clearing their cap space up. And a lot of teams talk about 2026 free agency class. Now, granted, there's a lot of stars that could hit the market in that 2026 offseason. McDavid's one of them, obviously. He would be the top of the class. Jack Eichel's also one of them, but I would expect Jack Eichel to stay in Vegas. Maybe not, who knows? Kirill Kaprizov, he's also expected to be a free agent in 2026. And those 3 would round out that class of free agency. That would be the heaviest free agency class we've seen in so long. Probably ever. That would be very entertaining. Who knows? McDavid and Draisaitl to Philly for Bobby Brink and Fedotov. Oh, man. That would be very... Oh, man, that is funny. That is funny. That reminds me of the old Flyers Twitter meme, Hagen III. Robert Hagen III. Trade him somewhere for a Hagen III. Ben Joyce. He was... Okay, so shoulder surgery knocked him out for the year. Okay. Teams cannot extend prior to July 1st, so the list will shrink. It does make sense. That does make... Besides those 3, who are the free agents expected for 2026? 2026 free agents. Let's go to Spot Track and see the teams, or see the players that are expected. Let's see. Let's just look at positions. Let's just look at forwards. So forwards, the free agents that are expected. Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, Jack Eichel, Alex Ovechkin, but he'll be surpassing 40 at that point. or surpassed 40 at that point. Kirill Kaprizov, Patrick Laine will be a free agent. Jason Robertson will be an RFA. Maybe that's why Dallas is trying to trade him. Kyle Connor, he'll be a free agent. That would be a nice get. Kevin Hayes is a free agent. Anders Lee is a free agent. Kopitar is a free agent. Martin Necas is a RFA. Evgeny Malkin would be a free agent. Trevor Zegras would be an RFA. It definitely is a very top heavy, but the top heaviness is very, very, very evident. Then other players, like, let's look at defensemen. Are there any good defensemen that are expected? Cale Makar is expected to be a free agent, so that's interesting there as well. Jacob Trouba, John Carlson, Shea Weber's contract, it's still there technically, even though he's retired. Same Mark-Edward Vlasic. Ryan McDonough, the defenseman, it's very just, it's Cale Makar. It's Cale Makar. Goaltenders, I think I saw Bob as a free agent. Carey Price is still there. Bobrovsky is a free agent in 2026. Thatcher Demko is a free agent. Spencer Knight would be an RFA. And then really not. Oh, there you go. Ivan Fedotov with a nice RFA there. But realistically, it's the three centers in McDavid, Eichel, and Kaprizov, and then Cale Makar. Those would round up your free agency, and maybe Bobrovsky. What's my early prediction for the Flyers at 6? I'm still going with Frondell. Give me anybody that any of the centers that fall in that range that are expected to go top 6. So that means James Higgins, if he gets to 6. Higgins, Frondell, if he's at 6, takes Frondell. If that Deoné kid is at 6, takes Deoné. Or if Martone somehow falls, because a team probably in that top 6 might reach for a defenseman or something like that. If Martone falls and he somehow ends up at 6, you take Martone. You just take best player available. I know a lot of people are very intrigued on Brady Martin and Jake O'Brien or something like that, and even Roger McQueen. Just take the guys that are expected to go in that top 6. So one of those guys that are expected in the top 6, take those. I'd be perfectly fine with. Yeah, Carey Price technically is still out. He's not retired, but he's not on paper retired. He's just like word. He's not playing anymore. Basically, his contract still exists. It's one of those like he's not retired. He's just probably on long-term IL. So his contract is still there. Frondell or O'Brien, I'd rather, and I also trade up my other picks to move up for McQueen. Now, I wouldn't mind. O'Brien would be more of a guy I'd trade up for. But if O'Brien still is rising up the stocks of the draft, okay, that's fine. But I'd still rather one the other guys that are projected up there, and then you trade up back into maybe the top 10, because they're like Buffalo is a team that I think would be willing to trade 9, because how many more high draft picks does Buffalo really need before they make the playoffs? Buffalo definitely is an intriguing team, in my personal opinion. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. We're not that far away from the draft act at this point. We're like, 2 weeks? At the draft's on the 27th. So there are definitely some intriguing things right here. I'm still debating what I'm going to do. I'm waiting for discussions with certain people for what I am doing specifically for the draft. I'm just trying to wait and see, because I don't know if I'm doing anything with Snow the goalie. So I might be doing something with Snow the goalie there. I might be going to wherever they're at. I just have to wait for Russ to tell me something. I know Brodes is doing his party at Chickies and Pete's in Glassboro. He was originally going to do it in South Philly, but then I think PHLY is also doing their draft party at South Philly Chickies and Pete's, so that thing kind of screwed them up entirely. I might be going to wherever Snow the goalie is, so we're discussing details with them. Collaboration with Chris Mayer. Bring back the Flyered Up podcast. With all the picks, it is a test for scouts, then player development. Oh yeah, 100%. I know a lot of people are really intrigued with Roger McQueen just because he's 6'5" center, so, and does have a lot of event skill. The injuries just do scare me. The injury concerns just do scare me. I know he said he's 100% cleared, and he feels better than ever. It's a wait and see process. But like I said, anybody that is projected into that top 6, like I said, if it's Higgins, if it's Frondell, if it's Deoné, if it's Martone or something like that, I'd be really willing to take those guys. I'd be really willing to take any of those guys. So, yeah, I think that'll do it for today, everybody. Very intriguing stuff. Very intriguing stuff. Yeah, McQueen is 100% a lottery. He is the biggest, probably boomer bust pick in that draft in this first round. The biggest boomer bust. So we'll just see what they do. They got a lot of time waiting out here. Like I said, I don't expect the Flyers to make all of their picks. They're probably going to trade at some point, whether that's trade a couple of their first round picks to move up in the draft, or they're even their second round picks, or they make a trade for a roster player. Who knows? Who knows? Could be anything. But we'll see what happens here. But that will do it for today, everybody. So I appreciate you all for tuning out, talking about the Phils, and also Flyers at the end, because sometimes we always just dive into that area. So appreciate you all for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. You can also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. It is a great deal. Do not pass it up. Also, leave a follow at TikTok and Instagram at TTPSports. So appreciate you guys for tuning out. Good series sweep by the Phils. Good homestand. Don't fuck it up in Miami. Now, don't fuck it up in Miami. So